It seems the 4 years we have to prepare for election is always not enough, as Nigeria has been plagued quarterly by unpreparedness for election. 2023 is looking promising as plans are already in motion and the time we have is being salvaged to prepare for election.
Display of the register for claims and objections, 24th to 30th December 2021. Third quarter, registration of vote, 3rd January to 22nd March 2022. Display of the register for claims and objections, 26th March to 1st April 2022.
Voters registration is up and running online with self-explanatory and easy steps.
In our determination to serve Nigerians better during the CVR, and in response to repeated calls by stakeholders, the Commission is introducing a dedicated portal for online registration. The idea is for intended registrars to commence the process online by filling the forms and uploading their pictures and required documents, and then make an appointment on the web portal for a date and time to visit an INEC state or local government office to give their fingerprints and complete the registration. In addition, those who are already registered as voters can carry out all the other activities such as transfers, correction of personal details, and replacement of damaged or defaced permanent voters cards, the PVCs.
Provisions like Braille ballot guide, magnifying glasses, and more are being made for voters with disabilities. INEC is set to release the timetable and schedule of activities for the general election immediately after the Anambra governorship election, scheduled to hold on the 6th of November 2021. The National Assembly is unbiased and will not condone a breach in the law protecting the INEC Act as they reject President Buhari's nomination of Onochie Loretta as National Commissioner representing the South-South. The 65-year-old pastor and educationist with a net worth of about $2 million was rejected on basis of federal character. Review, consideration, and debate are currently ongoing for Electoral Act Amendment Bill targeted at addressing election challenges. A bill has been passed for the adoption of electronic voting and result collation method. Some clauses appear to have hidden agenda and might jeopardize the future of the 2023 election.
It's not about ethnic division or regional division. It's about putting a credible electoral process in place. In the north and south, east and west, you have progressive-minded legislators who would like to join the rest of the civilized community by ensuring that we have in place a credible electoral system in the interest of all of us. But if a few people, a cabal, decide to retain the status quo, in fact, sabotage the electoral process, because right now, by virtue of Section 52 of the Electoral Act amended in 2015, INEC is giving unchallenged powers to devise any electoral, any process to guarantee that everybody is able to vote. And so INEC is empowered under the current law to transmit results, to compile results electronically, to tabulate results electronically. But when you now put it in the law that INEC shall not transmit election results electronically, we are in trouble. And I'm sure that Nigerians are going to continue to demand that the proper thing be done in order to ensure that the process we are putting in place will guarantee fair and free election within the bourgeois paradigm. But once you say that INEC will no longer be empowered to cancel result declared under duress by force. I mean, you have two senators in the current National Assembly whose election results were declared under duress at gunpoint. Of course, they were able to manage, and skate through the legal process. And that is what the members of the National Assembly are trying to institutionalize. You cannot institutionalize what is clearly illegal. And so Nigerians must continue to call on their representatives in the Senate and the House of Reps to ensure that this time around we are not going to sabotage the electoral process. And this must also go for the relevant provisions of the Constitution that are going to be amended in order to allow credible elections. For instance, people are suggesting, the bar and the bench, a majority of Nigerians, that we should no longer congest the Supreme Court with election petitions from all over the country. The Supreme Court, until 2011, was generally took appeals from presidential election petition tribunal. But today, from the 36 states of the country, even results of primary elections at local government levels are contested up to the Supreme Court. Today, the Supreme Court no longer has time to attend to other matters. And this is unjust. This is unfair. This is inequitable. There's no way you can set up the Supreme Court of any country that is supposed to be a policy court to deal with only election petitions throughout the year. It's unacceptable. And so people are suggesting that this time around, we must conduct good elections, we must conduct credible elections electronically, so that human interference and manipulation will be reduced to the barest minimum. And when you do that, the question of going to election petition tribunal, will be completely reduced or eliminated. And Nigerians will have more confidence in the electoral system. And our image as a country will be enhanced.
On security insurgencies across Nigeria, which may lay a threat on 2023 election, the Ninth Assembly submits 19 recommendations to President Buhari on how to address these security issues. Here are the recommendations.
profound respect to the members of the House of Representatives, those recommendations will need to be reviewed. While one can appreciate their concern, we must stop diverting attention from the problems of insecurity in the country. And when we talk about insecurity, we must appreciate that we're not simply talking about acquiring security gadgets alone. The most important aspect of security is social security. You don't need to say, Mr. President, declare a state of emergency on unemployment. Meaning what? In concrete terms, what you are supposed to do as legislators is to appropriate funds to empower the government to employ young people who are roaming the street, create employment opportunities all over the place, stop reckless importation of goods that can be produced in the country, address dollarization of the economy and the control of the Nigerian economy by the IMF and World Bank through the central bank. Stop neoliberal policies. Stop reckless approval of loans, because you are taking the country to a dangerous situation whereby 97% of the budget of last year was earmarked for or used to service debts. It's unacceptable, whereby contrary to the laws, contrary to the Constitution and the, some other laws, you cannot take loans to pay salaries and allowances, jumbo salaries and allowances. You are supposed to take loans for capital development in the country. That is not what is going on. With respect to the army or the armed forces, for me as a Nigerian, I think it is embarrassing to say in this age and time that we should spend money to hire mercenaries when we are not motivating our own soldiers who are ready to fight, when we are not empowering our soldiers who are ready to fight, when we are not giving them the tools, the equipment to fight. I have defended, many officers and men and women in the armed forces who are ready to fight, very patriotic, very committed people. But what is their complaint? The money earmarked for acquisition of weapons is diverted, and that is the duty of the National Assembly. It is not enough to budget appropriate funds, for acquisition of weapons. You must also monitor the fund. Those who are accused of not accounting for the money to buy weapons to fight, the counter-insurgency operations have been made ambassadors by the National Assembly. So you must ask the relevant questions. It's not about a country that has restored democracy in Sierra Leone, in Liberia, in the Gambia, and other countries, whose armed forces, members of the Nigerian forces, members of the police force, who have participated in UN peacekeeping operations. ECOMOG have done very well, and they have done the country proud. What has happened? That our armed forces cannot defeat the ragtag army of the Boko Haram sect. And I think these are the questions to ask. But when you say declare a state of emergency on insecurity, it's unfortunate that the National Assembly has not questioned the deployment of troops without the approval of the National Assembly. You can only do that under Section 305. So by asking the president now to declare a state of emergency, for me, it's like merely formalizing the state of emergency that has been declared in the area of insecurity. But what does it translate to? The president is asking governors, go and secure your states. Do they control the police force or the armed forces? I think these are the questions to ask. and not to go to the president belly aching, asking for a state of emergency on unemployment. Meaning what? In the budget of 2021, what is allocated to earmark for employment? And I think these are the issues to address.
Let's make our voices heard as we make Nigeria great again.
The registration wey dem dey call CVR dey for people wey don reach 18 years and dem never register before, and people wey their PVC don kpafuka abi e don lost, plus including people wey wan transfer their registration go where dem dey live now. This exercise go follow help people wey wan correct any informate on top their PVC or wey their card get accreditation problem for the last election.